Good morning to all of you. Thanks for joining us here on what we would call the big show. It has been certainly a tough morning, but an important one as we are taking time to remember our good friend and the face of the show. It is Monday, October 28th. I'm Brianna Boudreau. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Eric. Good morning, friends. I'm Brandon Walker, meteorologist Peyton Malone here. And, rewind a few years, this guy would be here saying good morning to you right here on this show, David Bernard.
I can say good morning.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
Good morning, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I didn't really, I knew I had to come on the show this morning when Val and Angela called me. Because, if I wasn't on the show, do you imagine how mad he would be?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And actually, I was hearing his voice in the back of my head, yesterday afternoon and evening when I was thinking about it. But I'm actually more emotional than I thought I was going to be. I've only been in this studio once, briefly, since I left in 2005, very briefly in 2008, and not really in this morning studio. And I'm just thinking about all the things we did together and the people that passed through here. And I just thought about this a few moments ago. The first time I ever saw Bethany, his wife, was like right there.
Oh, wow. My goodness.
And
So you're processing it all right
now.
Yeah. Talking about Eric, we are all bonded by Eric, I think, especially us as meteorologists. We had Laura in earlier, and we've all had wonderful memories with Eric. In a professional manner, what did he mean when you came here to WWL to you?
Well, I think, the first thing is I was pretty young, kind of like Peyton over here, but I think even younger at that point. And, I was pretty green as far as TV went. And WWL was a powerhouse across the country. We had anchors here at that time in the 90s that had been here since the station signed on.
And on the morning show, you replaced Don, right?
Yes, I took Don's place. As I say, I didn't replace him, but I took Don's place, just like everyone after me, right, Peyton?
Yeah.
But it was intimidating, and he had a way of, I think, making me feel comfortable, and I think that's what you're hearing a lot of other people say as well. At the same time, he had a standard, and he held everybody to it. And if you were slipping from that standard, you heard from it. And so being on an open-ended show like this, where there's a lot of potential to bring out your personality and engage with other anchors and guests, that really helped me become like the broadcaster that I eventually did.
The stuff y'all would say to each other on the show between the two of you.
Okay, so first of all, you've heard the history of this show, right? I'm sure as you got here, and you probably saw it.
I grew up watching this show.
I know, and so it wasn't just me, and it wasn't Andre Trevine, and it wasn't, we can keep on going down the list, or Peyton or anyone else. It was Eric. Okay, Eric is the one that created all of that energy.
He liked to stir the pot, as we say.
He was the common denominator,
Yeah.
right? And so he just brought out the best, or at times I could say the worst in us.
The life of the show.
However you want it to look at it. But when I think back of people and started television and television at the time was relatively new. When Eric got into TV in the 1970s, it was only more or less 20 years old. Modern TV, 25 years old. And it's folks like him, and I've been fortunate to know people of that generation that really made local television what it was then and what it's become today.
And we talk about that friendship where, he's the common denominator, giving everybody a tough time and pulling out the most vulnerable parts of yourselves. But it speaks volumes, the fact that he was also, you guys stayed such good friends through the years. And, he'd sit here and be like, oh, David texted me, and would talk about it. And, he was a part of your nuptials and getting married. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I've been going through the pictures, just a few I gave to you guys that we were showing there a second ago, and forgetting about so many of the things that we did together as friends and stayed so close in touch. And I'll just never forget when he called me and let me know that he was going to marry Bethany. And he says, I want you to stand at my wedding. And that was very touching. And so Then when I decided, Charlie and I decided we want to get married, I thought about it for about 5 seconds, and I told Charlie, I'm like, I know who's going to officiate this.
Yeah.
This is how it's going to happen. And it was just in front of our two families at our home. It was very small, very intimate. And he took it very seriously. He did. He was calling me every day. I'm going to say this. I'm going to do that. Just like the true, professional he was.
Eric being Eric.
But it was a wonderful experience and something I'll never forget.
He reminded me at least once a month that I married David and Charlie. I will marry you correctly. I said yes. And we'll be there. So I love y'all had that. And oh my gosh, as much as he pushed our buttons, especially, and he would try to pit us against each other. He would tell me frequently, what do you think it's going to do in Tampa, or their house in Sarasota? And I tell him, he goes, well, this is what David told me. And I'm like, well, this is why. So,
And you adjusted accordingly.
yeah, I just,
You're a great meteorologist, Peyton.
we're glad you were able to come on and share.
Yeah.
Share all
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
no,
really
thanks,
fun.
thanks for having me. And like I said, I'm still sort of soaking this in. It's a little different than I thought it was going to feel. But Eric was a great guy. I know there's a lot of people asking me right now, like, what more is going to be done to remember him and all that. And I'm sure his family is thinking about all that. But I've had a lot of people call me with a lot of ideas about what they think should happen. And so I think between all of that, he's going to have a good final send-off. And that's what I think everybody wants.
Yeah. Thank you for spending time with us.
Absolutely.
This morning. Yeah.
This is
Come
really
back
special.
again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.